The silence in this room is heavy. It is not the silence of a monk in deep meditation, but rather the silence of a tomb. You believe you are safe because the walls are thick and the temperature is perfectly controlled. You believe you are winning because you have finally eliminated the struggle. But look closer at the reflection in the glass. Your eyes are restless. Your pulse quickens at the slightest vibration of a phone. You are living in a sanctuary of your own making, yet you have never felt more hunted. This is the paradox of the modern condition. We have built a world without friction, and in doing so, we have lost our ability to stand upright when the wind blows. The diagnosis is simple, yet devastating. You are emotionally porous because you have spent years avoiding the cold. The slightest draft now feels like a blizzard because you have retreated from the heat of conflict. A single harsh word burns like a brand. You have cultivated a life of absolute comfort, and it has turned your soul into a raw, exposed nerve. You are no longer the master of your internal kingdom. Instead, you are a slave to the external. You are a puppet dancing to the rhythm of every passing whim, every digital outrage, and every minor inconvenience. When the coffee is cold, you feel a surge of genuine resentment. When a stranger ignores you, your self-worth collapses into the dirt. This is not living. This is reacting. We call this comfort, but it is actually a form of sensory deprivation for the spirit. By removing the obstacles, you have removed the very whetstone that keeps the mind sharp. You are a blade that has been kept in a velvet sheath for so long that the metal has begun to rust and pit. The edge is gone. There is only the dull weight of a tool that can no longer cut through the noise of existence. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, a small part of your willpower undergoes atrophy. You think you are resting, but you are actually decomposing. The ease of your surroundings has convinced you that you are fragile. It has whispered the lie that you cannot endure, that you must be protected, and that any discomfort is an assault on your very being. This emotional reactivity is the fever of a dying will. It is the frantic thrashing of a creature that has forgotten how to breathe underwater. You move from one distraction to the next, desperate to maintain the equilibrium of your mood, terrified that a single moment of boredom or pain will shatter the fragile glass of your identity. You are exhausted. You are exhausted not from labor, but from the constant, low-grade anxiety of maintaining your comfort. It takes an incredible amount of energy to hide from the truth. The truth is that you have become a ghost in your own life. You haunt the corridors of your habits, repeating the same safe motions. While the world outside burns with a fire you no longer have the courage to touch. This is the slow death. It doesn't arrive with a bang or a sudden tragedy. It arrives in the soft cushions of your couch. It arrives in the endless scroll of a screen. It arrives every time you choose a feeling over a principle. You are being buried alive by the things you thought would set you free. The diagnosis is clear. You are comfortable, and therefore, you are already dead. Look around you now. Go back 2,000 years, to a world carved from cold marble and stained with blood. The Stoics did not live in the climate-controlled silence of a modern office. They lived in the shadow of the plague, the roar of the arena, and the sharp edge of the blade. For them, survival was not a given. It was a daily negotiation with absolute unrelenting chaos. They understood something we have forgotten. They viewed the human mind not as a playground for feelings, but as a fortress. To a Stoic, an emotion was never a command. It was data. It was a weather report from the outside world. If the sky turns black and the thunder rolls, you do not become the storm. You simply observe that it is purely raining. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, sat in his tent on the Danubian frontier. Outside, men were dying in the mud. Inside his mind, he practiced a radical form of detachment. He did not suppress his fear. He categorized it. He saw his anger not as a fire, but as a temporary fever. To him, an impulse was just a visitor knocking loudly. We often mistake Stoicism for a lack of feeling, a cold, robotic indifference. But that is a lie. The Stoics felt the sting of grief and the rush of blood just as we do. The difference lay in the response. They believed that between the stimulus and the reaction, there is a space, a narrow gap where your humanity lives. In that space, you decide if the emotion is useful. Epictetus, born a slave, knew that physical chains were nothing compared to the chains of the mind. He taught that if you allow comfort to dictate your actions, you are a slave to your biology. If you run toward pleasure and flee from pain, you have handed the keys of your life to a master who does not care for your soul. You are now a leaf in the wind. They called it the inner citadel, a place inside you that remains untouched by the chaos of the world. It is the part of you that watches the body shiver in the cold and says, "This is merely a sensation." It is the part that feels the pull of the soft bed and recognizes it as a trap. They saw comfort as a thick fog. In the ancient world, luxury was seen as a toxin. Seneca, a man of immense wealth, would spend days living in poverty just to remind himself that the soul does not need silk to breathe. He knew that the more we insulate ourselves from the harshness of reality, the more we atrophy. We become brittle. We become shadows of what we were meant to be. They didn't seek suffering for its own sake. They sought the truth. And the truth is that your emotions are often liars. They are echoes of ancient survival instincts that no longer serve you in a world of abundance. When your brain screams for comfort, it is not a divine decree. It is just noise. It is just data. And you are the one who decides what to do next. History shows us that the comfortable life is a slow decay. The Stoics stood in the rain to remember they were made of more than sugar and salt. They knew that to find the self, you must first lose the need for the pillow. The path to freedom begins when you stop obeying the whispers of your own skin. This is the ancient grand war. The cure is a cold blade. It cuts through the soft tissue of your dependency. You have been trained to react, to jump when the bell rings, to bleed when the world pricks you. This is the script of a victim. To survive the slow death of comfort, you must adopt the philosophy of the stone. It is the final end of the dance. The gray rock method is your armor. It is the art of becoming invisible while standing in plain sight. It is not a retreat. It is a siege. You are denying the external world the one thing it survives on. Your energy, your reaction is the currency of your own destruction. Stop paying the price. It is the silent war. When the chaos arrives, and it will arrive, do not meet it with fire. Fire only feeds fire. Instead, meet it with the ashen indifference of a mountain. A mountain does not argue with the storm. It does not explain its presence to the wind. It simply remains. It is dull. It is gray. It is immovable. It is the heavy silence. Practice the void. When someone seeks to provoke you, look through them, not at them, through them. Your eyes should be like glass, reflecting everything, absorbing nothing. Provide short, factual answers. Yes, no, I don't know. These are the bricks you use to build your inner citadel. Every word you withhold is a calorie of spirit you keep for yourself. The world hates this. The world wants you vibrant, reactive, and easily led. It wants your dopamine spikes and your cortisol crashes. By becoming the gray rock, you become a ghost in the machine. You are no longer a target because there is nothing for the world to hit. You have removed the hooks. You are unreachable. This is the discipline of the non-reactive mind. It is a dark path because it requires the death of the ego. The ego wants to be seen. It wants to be right. It wants to roar. You must kill it. You must embrace the silence of the deep woods. In that silence, you will find the strength that comfort stole from you. Look at your phone. Do not let it trigger you. Look at the headlines. Do not let them move you. Look at the people who seek to drain your peace. Give them nothing. Not a smile. Not a frown. Just the gray, flat surface of a soul that has decided it can no longer be bought. This is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. It is the realization that your internal state is a sanctuary, not a public square. You have spent years decorating the porch for strangers while the foundation of the house rotted away. No more. Shut the door. Bolt the lock. Become the stone. The cure for the slow death is the sudden stop, the refusal to participate in the theater of the mundane. When you stop reacting, you start existing. You move from the passenger seat of your biology to the throne of your will. It is cold here. It is lonely. But it is the only place where you are truly free. The stone does not feel the cold. It does not fear the dark. It simply is. And in a world of shifting shadows, being is the ultimate act of rebellion. This is your medicine. This is your way out. Become the rock. Stay the rock. Survive the storm of the self. Endure the weight of your own silence until it becomes your greatest, most unshakable power. Stand still forever.